Hello viewers of Cafdil TV, welcome to today's edition of Religious Vocation Digest. Today we are at Marian Kwaw, the Franciscan Valley of Prayer and Silence, to have a conversation with the first Ghanaian friar, Brother David Kwaw. He's going to share his story with us, his vocation story with us. Remember, we are live on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil EDU. Send us your comments and then your messages, especially those who have encountered Brother David in any way, and then say something nice to Brother David. Let's join him to begin the conversation. But before then, we take a short break. Stay tuned.
Good evening, viewers. This is an opportunity to introduce to you a book that I have written, especially for Catholics and all Christians alike, about forgiveness. In my apostolate as a retreat director, spiritual direction and counseling, one of the challenges I have heard over and over again is how to forgive. There are many people who think forgiveness is impossible. Others think they can forgive, but they don't forget. Others will say they don't forget or forgive at all. Some apply certain phrases without knowing the root by saying, to forgive is divine and to err is human. Others will say, forgive and forget. In whichever way you say, there is truth in it. But this simple booklet will help you to face the reality of life in your own life when it comes to forgiveness. The materials inside are personal experiences. The Bible are factual experiences. And in forgiveness, each one should try to give a reason. Because if you want forgiveness as a spirituality, you will never find it. If you are talking about forgiveness as hereditary, you will never get it. Forgiveness is not even a skill to be learnt or taught in school. Forgiveness is a choice. Therefore, in salvation history and in human history, anybody who forgives somebody for wrongdoing will always give a reason why the person forgave his brother, his mother, his daughter, his father. Forgiveness is possible. The problem we have is we think when you forgive, then naturally the event or the pain has been taken from your brain. That is not true. Forgiveness simply means I have no intention whatsoever to pay you back for something wrong done against me. That is forgiveness. The event you remember, the circumstances you remember, but you have no intention to pay the person back. And if you take the individuals, we also forgive ourselves. The worst thing that we face in our generation is that people cannot forgive themselves. And that is very, very unfortunate. Whatever has happened in your life, is past. What you have is a scar. It's not a sore. So, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, forgiveness is possible. Try to get a copy of this small book, and you find your situation in it. And your situation will help you to forgive one another in order to live peacefully among ourselves and create a peaceful society, family, clan, nation, and the world. Let us all pray for forgiveness and try to live forgiveness in our daily life.
In today's edition of Religious Vocation Digest, we are going to have a discussion with the oldest Franciscan friar in Ghana and the first Ghanaian Franciscan friar. He is in the person of Brother David Kwaw. Brother Akwaba.
Yeah, Nia.
Apome.
Adumo.
Still young.
By God's grace.
Yeah, so I have known Brother for a while, at least when I was a postulant in the Society of the Infant Jesus, where I find myself today. He used to teach us human development, Brother, isn't it?
You remember, you have done
Yes. Human development at this very location. We were coming here almost every week for that, and then I must say that whatever teachings he gave us that time shaped us in a way, and I believe it is part of the reasons why I am who I am today, thanks to Brother David. So, Brother, tell us more about yourself. We know you are Brother David, the first Ghanaian Franciscan friar. What else?
As you rightly said, I am Brother David, the first surviving friar. My group, we were 5. Unfortunately, 4 couldn't make it. And in those days, we started as far back as where you are now. That was our first novitiate.
Okay.
And then later, we built this area and we moved. And that was 1978. So when we moved, we had a chance to start moving around to have more vocation. And this is what we have been doing, especially in myself as a person,
Okay.
being in vocation for all these years.
How many years?
Not to exaggerate, at least information, I've been here for almost 30 years.
Okay.
Dealing with young people and teaching young people. The current novices, the current group of friars we have, with the exception of 2, that is Charles Cafdil and Father Kwame Blay. I didn't teach them during the apostolancy and novitiate,
Okay.
but the rest, I taught all of them.
Up to this current novices.
Up to these novices.
Okay.
Only last year I told Father Moses, I think I'm tired of teaching novices.
Brother, you can't be tired now.
Well,
You still have the strength, so.
I still have the strength, but moving around to sit for 10 hours a day, I think it wasn't good for me.
Okay.
In those days, I was doing it with joy, moving from novitiate to retreat to counseling. I was doing it with joy, but age has caught up with me, and I have to be sure of that and slow down.
Okay. I know you are wondering how old Brother is, saying that old age has caught up with him. Brother is 80 years and still counting. This year will be 81.
Yes.
Good.
To be precise, this will give you opportunity to know my birthday. 22nd June this year, I will be 81.
Okay. Wow. And you still look young.
This is what people say. And probably my movement doesn't show that I'm slowing down.
Yeah.
But on the other side, people close to me also advise me to slow down.
Okay.
The body is not young again.
Yeah. Okay. Brother, why did you choose to be a brother instead of being a priest?
A priest.
Yeah.
As a person, this question has been very unfortunate as a person, because vocation is not only priesthood. Vocation cuts across many areas. In actual fact, single life is a vocation. Married life is a vocation. In fact, what we are doing is a vocation. But unfortunately, in the church, there is this unfortunate concept. If you don't want to be a priest, it means you are not clever or you can't study. It's very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very sad. And I have answered this question more than 10,000 times. In fact, people even tell me in the face that I'm wasting my talent. Priests tell me, bishops tell me. And there is a man on the property I'm going to meet this morning. He's a lecturer at UCC. And you also think I'm wasting my talent. I have been wasting my talent. And yet he's a lecturer, I'm not a lecturer. And I tell him the way out spiritually. And yet he thinks I'm wasting my talent. So what talent I have, I don't know.
Yeah. So, brother, how did your vocation story actually begin?
My vocation story was a crossroad event. Actually, as a young man, staunch Catholic from a Catholic background, but it didn't occur to me to become a brother or a priest. My desire in life was to be like any young man, to be a great engineer, because in my mind I think my math was good. And then I had another desire. I was playing football for money. In those days they called it one change. So people come and hire me and I go travel all over the country to play football. My parents or our parents died early. So in 1973, when I went to play football and I came back, my senior brother, the only brother I have, asked me a very simple question. He said, since you don't want to stop footballing, if you get another fracture, who will take care of you? That was the turning point in my life. So from that question, I became convinced that in footballing, if I get another injury, my brother will not take care of me. So what do? I gave my boot out. So when people come and say, brother, you have much and you wanted to help us, I tell them I don't have a boot. So I kept deceiving people. And then one day, at that time my brother was a member of Legion of Mary. And from time to time, I will hide and take his book and read. And after 3 months, I was inspired. So I started constantly going to the chapel, praying. And at a given point, I made a promise. You see, when you mentioned my name, you said, my name is David Kwaw. You are right. But there was a name I changed. And my vow was, as far back as 1974, if Mother Mary will use me to do his work as I'm playing football, I will use her name to proclaim the good works he will entrust into me till I die. Therefore, in my name is Marian, David Marian Kwaw. That Marian Kwaw is my vowed name as far back as 1974.
Wow. I think I know of this Marian, but God being so good, wanting you to explain further, I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
So it's the Spirit at work here. So, brother, where do you originally come from?
Originally, I am Nzema
Okay.
from Aziema. The Akan will say Esiema, but the local people, as I am, I will say Aziema.
Okay.
Aziema is on the west coast of Ghana, between another town called Azrorun, Nkrofo, and Keka, on the west coast.
Okay.
That is my home village. It's not a big town, but it's my home village.
Yeah. How did you meet the friars?
That is another interesting question.
Yeah.
When I decided to look for a vocation, I contacted the Holy Cross. And the brother I met in the course of the interview asked me whether I want to be a teacher. And I said no. Then he said, this place is not for you. Okay. So through pamphlet, I came to know the conventual Franciscans.
Okay.
And I wrote to them. But then they told me I shouldn't worry to come to the US because they are planning to come to Ghana.
Okay. That time they had not.
No.
Okay.
They are planning to come to Ghana. And probably that is why I happen to be the first contact person, and fortunately, the first person still alive.
Okay.
So I have to wait for another 4 years, 5 years for the friars to come
To Ghana.
to Ghana, yes, in 1977.
So in the course of waiting, what were you doing?
In the course of waiting, I was working
Okay.
at Takoradi Harbour as a clerk at the cocoa purchasing office. I was working.
Actually, the birthday is scheduled.
Oh, sure. Made the schedule. It's true. But my life, for whatever reason, money didn't entice me. It's very strange, but money. In fact, I was growing up, my uncle who educated me was a goldsmith.
Okay.
And at the tender age of 15, 16, I was selling gold ankles. So in my pocket, there were always plenty money. Plenty. Papa. But then I fear money. Funny thing, you may not believe. See, even now my structure, I'm not tall, I'm not big. And my uncle was using me to buy gold from Pristia. Today you may call it smuggling.
Okay.
But when I'm going, I wear my school uniform. But my waist is a duku, but it's all gold. But it didn't encourage me.
Okay.
And actually, I don't regret, because that work, that profession is dead.
Okay.
And all those, the family who were once rich as goldsmiths, they are now poor people because the work has died.
And mismanagement also, probably.
Probably mismanagement, probably restriction in selling gold in the way they were being sold at that time.
So when the Franciscans first came to Ghana, you were the contact person.
Yes.
So what happened next?
The first friar I met was Father George Abraham. Actually, he was the first friar to come to Ghana, both in 77. And when he came, one Father Portier, then the cathedral administrator in Takoradi, I went for Mass and he told me, go to Secondary, Father George is there, and meet him. So I went to Secondary, I met Father George Abraham, and we had a good chat. And then he said, well, the Americans are coming, they will go into vocation. So when they come, I should contact them. 3 months later, the Americans also came. They settled. If you go to Cape Coast Bishop House, there are 2 bungalows. They were given one. So that was where the first American friars stayed. And finally, with their intention to promote vocation, the then Archbishop John Kodwe Misa gave them the house where you are living today. And the sisters at that point were Sister Mary Pencil, I remember, Sister Felicia Yosen, and Margaret Mary.
Okay.
So they moved them to rent a house just across the road for them, so that we can occupy, because they were only 3, so that we can occupy the house.
And how many were you?
You were 6 at that time from the beginning.
Okay.
The 5 of us, actually we were 7. The 5 novices, late Father, this is notice. Let me think and mention the name. Who was then already a retired priest.
From the archdiocese?
Yeah, it's called Father Menya.
Okay.
Francis Menya. So you were 7 at that time in the house.
Okay. So Father George is an Italian.
Yes.
And then later the American friars came.
Yes. Within the same year.
Okay. So which of them did you actually write to? Is it the Franciscan Italian friars or the American friars?
The American friars.
Okay.
Yeah. The American friars.
So what happened that your other colleagues left or couldn't make it?
It's a long story. And religious life, by now you know, it's not a straightforward journey. We have our challenges, our shortcomings, misunderstanding, sometimes prejudice, fear. There are certain stories in my group that sometimes makes me sad. One of my novitiate mates, after 1 year, ended up at Ankamfo Mental Hospital. And from there, he couldn't recover.
Wow.
As I am talking to you, he's a madman.
Still alive?
Still alive. In our grassroots. So, the remaining, the age oldest also is late. It's called John Allen Atta. He was a teacher by profession. So after our vows, he was asked to teach at the school. And then we moved to Fort Ridge at that time. And what happened between him and his novice master, Father Dominic Slember, only God knows. Things went so bad that Alan decided to quit after 1 year on profession. The rest, two of them are alive. Francis Johnson also had challenges in philosophy in Pedu. And he left. At that time, he had a brother, also Johnson, in Liberia. So there was an arrangement that Francis went to Liberia to continue his priesthood. So Francis was ordained in Liberia, and he's still ministering in Liberia. So he's more or less a Liberian now. The next one was Bonaventure Kwedu. He also, in philosophy, had a problem with our superior. Very, very unfortunate, and he also left. When he left, his father, Mr. P.K.K. Kwedu, was a known friend of late Archbishop, now late Cardinal Derry.
Okay.
So there was an arrangement that Bonaventure went to Tamale also to become a priest and was ordained for Tamale Diocese. But when they split it, later on, he went under Damango Diocese. But from there, so many things happened, and still struggling to make it in the Accra Diocese. I don't know exactly what he's doing now, but things are not working well.
Yeah.
So the 5, only one has passed. The rest are alive. One is out of the mind. One is Liberia as a priest. One is Accra Diocese. And one is still in Sorpont, holding the baton for the history.
Yeah. Brother, let me ask this. Initially in our conversation, you mentioned that some bishops, some priests, even some lay people think that you've wasted your time being a brother. But you, what do you think, or what do you have to say for yourself being a brother all these years?
I disagree with all of them because vocation is to do the will of God.
Okay.
And even when you look into the Bible according to Numbers chapter 6, consecrated life is for men and women. So life even in the history of the church, even from the Old Testament, in the days of Moses on the desert, consecrated life was fully established. And this is what the Lord told Moses. If you have the Bible referred, if a man or a woman wanted or desired to take the vow of Nazarite, it should be allowed, and the law follows. And what is Nazarite? Nazarite simply means set apart for God, consecrated to do the God's will. So when people ask me that question, it always takes me aback. Again, the sad part is it looks as if being a brother, even the church endorsed it. but yet members of the church don't accept it. Probably people think I'm clever and I should be the priest, but you can be a priest and be a stupid person too. Sorry to say it, but that is the truth.
Yeah. So, brother, what do you make of community life today?
Community life is a challenge. In fact, as you know, I have been teaching this for many years, especially we religious. The 3 vows we take are not the most challenging in our life.
Yeah.
The most challenging of religious life is community living.
The 4th vow. The 4th unprofessed vow.
Yeah, you can call it so, the 4th unprofessed vow. Because the vow of chastity is between you and your God. The vow of obedience is between you and your God and your superior. The vow of poverty is between you and your God and your concept of understanding what is poverty.
Okay.
The vow challenges you, but the vow doesn't challenge you physically. Whereas community, somebody may say something, sometimes even verbal attack, insult. Maybe the camera will not be interesting to hear that, but that is the truth. The vow, very challenging. And many people live not because of the vows, but because of community. They can't take one another. And because it's community, sometimes community is not all that conducive. A lot of friction, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, backbiting, sometimes even prejudice in community life. Those of us who belong to international congregations, sometimes even the skin speaks. They can ask you a foolish question in your house, what do you eat? And what you are eating at the table is nothing than flour streamed called spaghetti. And they think it's the best. And your fufu that you eat, they will tell you is carbohydrate. But your spaghetti is more carbohydrate than the fufu.
Yeah, but in the midst of all this, others also think that is what makes community life interesting.
There is truth in it, because life to be interested to each one of us, we need somebody to challenge you. And sometimes even the challenge makes you grow and develop properly. Yeah. I will tell you a story that I was in Ankafo in 1993. But before I went there, I know it's on the agenda that they will close the house. So I was in Ankafo when they closed the house. There was no challenge. Then I came to Fort Ridge. And there was a rumor that they are going to also close Fort Ridge. I remember I questioned the then provincial, and he said, no, we are not going to close the community, Fort Ridge community. We are going to freeze it, which is typical Catholic terminology, language. To freeze it means it's not closed. You can reopen it at any time. That is what it means. But actually, it's the first step to close it. Because the provincial who wanted to close it was not a general. Okay. And since it's a provincial, it doesn't have the canonical right to close the house. 2 years later, he became the general and he closed the house.
Mission fulfilled.
Mission fulfilled. And then when that was closed, probably I've also been a lucky person. I had been in the top authority for at least 28 years, so I know in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And in all this, I do the underground work, so I know what is going on. And then the hate came that this place too, so upon here, they want to close it. At that time, the council, we were 4. 3 Italians and myself. So when that news was broken to me, and the meeting took place in this place, so upon here, after explanation, Vincent threw the question back to me. David, what do you think? And I know before you have a meeting, the 3 have already discussed whatever they want to discuss. They just want to hear my story and then act. So when he asked me, what do I think? Actually, I was angry, very, very angry. I sat down quietly. And I said, why do you want to close this house? Because the poor class are here. He said, we didn't invite the poor class, number 1. The land, we haven't bought it. It has been given to us by the diocese. And the diocese has the right to take the land back at any time. So these were the 2 reasons. The land is not for us. The poor class, we didn't invite them. And then I said, but we have developed and have a lot of things on the property. And then he said, but we can do better elsewhere. And within me, my anger fled. So I said, Vincent, are you serious to close the house? He said, yes, this is what the provincial thinks. I said, well, you are the custos, you are the superior, you have every right and authority to close it. I can't challenge you. But there is one thing you have to do. And he asked me, what? And I did this.
To kill you.
Eh?
To kill you.
Yes. What did you kill me? So what? And I told him my navel is in Solomon for all these years. What crime have the American committed that every house the Americans built, you want to close it? Because on the agenda too, you have to close Soweto. Because the excuse is that the land is too small. So the meeting ended with sad faces. I don't know what they will say to the provincial. So later, as my punishment, you may know that I was here for 1 year alone. Yes. That was my punishment. You want the place, stay there. And I did. The sister, to tell you the truth, now when I look back at this place, I'm a man full of joy.
Exactly. You fought the good fight.
Yes, I fought a good fight.
You wouldn't be here today.
No. And especially the lay people and religious, they come and they thank God for the gift of my life, my vision. I told one priest, you see, when you walk around, you have pavement blocks. When I created that idea, even a young friar told, then Isaac was the superior, that it's a waste of money. Why should you put pavement blocks on the road? And I told Isaac, go and tell him, you have well traveled. When you go there, you say it's beautiful, isn't it? But that beauty, to bring it in Ghana, is a waste of money. Sometimes it's sad, the way we think. And that even made me more angry. Not only this, but this, and from here to that. And still as I'm talking, there's another projection to continue the pavement blocks. You go to Europe, I've had a chance to visit 2 nice places. Why can't you do it in Ghana? Money? 80% of what you do here, the money comes from the local people. Local people. Donation, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Here, we are on solar. But the solar was given to us by one person.
Wow.
One person. And when the man is here, it's unassuming. You may not think this man can even afford 10,000. But he paid for every person. In fact, when you go there and look up, you see on top where I am, the panel.
Yes, when I came there, I saw it.
One person did it for us. And others, I can't mention them here. People give 10,000, 5,000. And when I look back, I'm so grateful to God. I'll give you another example. When we are going there, this route, when we estimated it was 35,000, pavement blocks, eggs, and labor. And we didn't have even 5,000 for the project. And I told Isaac at that time, you should trust in God, it will work. One day I was packing blocks, and somebody I have helped years back called me. He said, Daddy, I said, yes, I made the promise, I want to fulfill it. And I said, is that so? He said, yes. That's okay. So should I bring it or I put it in the bank? I said, put it in the bank. And then he told me it's 10.
Wow.
Ever since I met that man, I've never seen her wearing shirt. Always in t-shirt, only colors. So simple. I was then going to work to direct a retreat, so I kept it secret. But in Accra, I called Isaac. I said, ask the man to bring us pavement blocks worth 10,000. And then he asked me, do you have money? I said, don't worry. There's money sitting in my room. When I came, they have brought the pavement blocks and I was packing them. A lady that till now I have never seen her in person came here. Isaac was down there and he asked, is that Brother Dick over there working? He said, yes. I said, this man, God bless him. I think we can help. Sister, behind his car, he wrote a check, 10,000. Friday, the following Friday, another man came. He was coming from Accra to Takoradi. He decided to bring to say prayers. Fortunately, unfortunately, Brother David is still doing the manual labor. The man I know, but for the sake of the camera, I will not mention the name. Isaac, because you were working together, he asked the same question. Is that Brother David over there? He said, yes. He said, this man, God bless him. Sister, check, 10,000. So, in 3 weeks, we had 30,000. 3 weeks. Friday, 30,000.
Wow.
And then people come and say, brother, where do you get your money? And I said, from the local people. In fact, I tell some priests, and this is to all who may listen to this, if the faithful give you 10 cedis to buy a watch, buy the watch 10 cedis. Next time, if you need 20 cedis, they will give it to you. If they give you 10 cedis and you spend 6 cedis and you don't buy the watch, they won't challenge you. But if you need 20 cedis, they won't give it to you. Because the first 10 cedis, you could not account for it. Sister, that's the way you have developed this place. If you are taking the Station of the Cross, you see another pavement We did it differently. Only 2 people know the person in person, myself and Isaac. Single-handed. We sponsored everything.
I don't even know what to say. So, okay, so let me use this opportunity to lobby for my own congregation. All those that have been helping Brother David develop this place, please locate the Society of the Infant Jesus through me. I'll be glad. Ever since I've known you, it has been Salt Pond. Which other community have you stayed? You said you mentioned that you stayed in Ankafo.
I stayed in Ankamfo.
Where it was closed down.
I stayed in
Fort Ridge.
I stayed in Sunyani.
Okay, Sunyani also.
Yes, Sunyani also.
But this has been the longest place you've stayed. Do you have any intention going on transfer?
Actually, as at now, I don't have any intention to move from here for very tangible reason. Even if you take my age, our houses are made of parish and formation.
Yes.
And the only one that is made up of more than 2 is Ifyukuma, where we have the parish, the school, and the press. Now, the school and the press, I don't think at this time I fit into it. Accra, Aoshi, I don't think I fit into it. Soutum, I don't think I fit into it. Sunyani, to go back again as a, first of all, porcelaincy and novitiate, I think is too much. I'm out now. So the only place I can be useful is this apostolate, retreat, and counseling.
Yeah. You've already shared some difficulties in the religious life as you were sharing your story. And then you've also shared with us what you make of religious life or community life today. What do you think is the one thing that scares people away from religious life?
My personal observation and experience is we, the older ones, our action and reactions and language in the community put people off. Probably I told you in those days, when the young ones are coming, they have something we call it halo, a sign of holiness, big. Because the sisters, they don't quarrel, they don't get angry, they don't insult. That is their perception. And then they enter, and 3 weeks, they get one blow. Shout. I said, wow. Is that the way the life is? Yes, that's the way the life is. And sometimes they get stuck, whether to go or not to go. And those who have courage, they go. Those who have this primitive mentality from our parents, you want to be a priest, you want to be a sister, you want to be a brother, you enter, don't come back. If you come back, it's a taboo. So whether you like it or not, you stay. So if you like it or not, you stay in sorrow. And if you are not fortunate for God's grace to relieve you, you stay for the rest of your life an unhappy person. Because sometimes our attitudes is not all that good. It's human society shrouded in the Word of God, the church, and desire for holiness of life. But the truth is, holiness of life can never be achieved on this planet. As long as we live, you can never be holy. We are always striving to be holy. That is what we are trying to do. And therefore, when people out of enthusiasm wants to be holy within 1 year, the second year they will collapse. Because they get a problem here, they get a problem here, they hear this, they hear that, they hear this. And then they say, well, I don't think I don't fit. The third point in part is that the modern world is so open. Modern technology. You see this machine, and those your colleagues are holding. Which part of the world you can go with it? What type of information you cannot search for? All are on that little machine. So there are so many young men desiring to live religious life, but already their mind is set and they want a life that they want to live. So when they come and they realize that this is not what they want, they don't come. They stop. In fact, even some of them want us to modify our constitution. I think I have told so many novices, you want to join us or you want us to join you? If you want to join us, this is our constitution. If you cannot live it, it's you who go. That could have said, but brother, you have to change the constitution, modern life.
But brother, they could be right somehow. Because the constitution had been written how many years? And then at least something to put in there to suit the current generation, both the young and old. So that new wine and then old wine.
Old wine and new wine. But in the church teachings and life and holiness of life, has the Bible ever changed?
No.
Why do you want to change? You leave it. Let me tell you an example. I was teaching novices just behind here where Mary was teaching. And this young man, unfortunately, it was around this time. And he said, but brother, don't you think your house is too hot? And I say, I know, but what do you want to do? Why not put air conditioners in your rooms? He has stayed for 3 days. I've been living in this house for 10 years. And 3 days, he wants air conditioning in the room. Who pays the bill? It's nice to have air conditioning in our rooms. In fact, yesterday you were joking that Sopon is now hot. Even under the fan, it's hot. But if you put air conditioning and they bring you a bill, only God knows. Even without the air conditioning, the electricity bill, their house, sometimes 1 month, 10,000. And we question, what is here? So we are in a world that we are competing with the world. And the world also is giving us a false image. When you watch the TV, the action, you people, the acting, things that we see in the movies, we think these are places that people are actually living. It's a theater.
Yeah.
From there they go to their poor homes, somewhere. And sometimes I think religious, we are fortunate.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow, yes. My dear ladies and my dear brothers, I don't know. But for us, in the morning by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, table is set for breakfast. What will come, you don't think about it. You haven't eaten. Very good. 4 o'clock, the table was set for breakfast this morning. When you finish, lunch table is set. When you finish lunch, supper table is set. So it's like we are guaranteed of our 3 meals every day. I go to my house. 10 o'clock, the children have not eaten. That is the truth. There are so many areas we need to look at and tell our brothers and sisters in the name of God that at least R is better. Academically, again, if you have the head, you are the Franciscans, so they'll push you. Those up there, people have the head, but the money. They can't go to university. But with us, at least, if you can do it, and I'm sure you know I was sick last year.
Yes.
Yes. Whereas people were sympathizing with me and to come back successfully, because it's like people thought I would not come back again, including myself. But others were thinking the cost of being at that hospital. Legon Teaching Center. It's expensive.
Yeah.
The hospital is a class, no doubt about it. But one thing that you have to do, you have to go through all the tests. And each one, you pay. Even after the surgery, to go and see the doctor, to give you the food, 250. Just to go and see him. And this is the word. So when you go to that hospital, brother, you are billed. That's, but I'm religious. God will take care of it. And you laugh over it. So somehow along the line, sometimes, I think we are lucky. We are fortunate by God's grace.
Yeah. Adding up to what you said, it's only in the religious life that somebody will be driving, the person will have an accident. And then they are not concerned about the person coming out alive. But then, how damaged the car is.
It's one of the unfortunate situations in religious life. I call it unfortunate. Sister, I will tell you this. Because of that mindset in community, even at a point that I had 3 vehicles at my disposal, when I'm going on holidays, I don't go with the car. Because when you go with the car, since we're in the community, you know what the community thinks. Where is he at this time? Where is he going to visit? Who are the people he's going to visit? And as you said, when you get accident, they won't ask you, how was the sister or the brother? Say, how was the car? Meaning, even modern generation, among religious, a vehicle is more important than human life. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. How was the vehicle? Was it damaged? How serious was the damage?
The way you are saying it is even nice. They will be like, Akwana Kasekano.
It's true. It's unfortunate. So, how can men of God, women of God value material thing more than
human life?
Human life. Whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, is the reality. And it's not only in my community or congregation, you have it everywhere.
Yeah.
They have it. There was one sister at that time, Brafuyao, over there, had an accident. He was there with a particular American sister. May she rest in peace.
Amen.
And the sister told her to use her money to repair the car.
Which money?
Her personal money. So the question asks you, say, which money? Would the congregation pay? No. She was a lucky person. She has to write to her siblings in US. And they sent her the money to repair the car. Of course, the bishops' conference intervened and said, no, it's not right. And they refund the money. But the sister director in it, I won't mention her name, asked the sister to repair the car with her own money. This is very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Material things more important than human life.
Yeah. What can we do? Brother, let's deviate from this current conversation. You have authored some books,
Yes.
which includes...
Only 2 have come out.
Okay.
The first one is Sooty Tears. The second one is The Virtue of Forgiveness.
Okay.
Sooty Tears, I didn't directly put my name into the many stories,
Okay.
but actually it was a life journey of myself. And it was a good book, and still is a good book for those who want to read and buy it. And when Booker read it, the good thing about that particular book is that people who bought it, each one has a page or a chapter that favors him or her.
Yeah.
Archbishop Booker read through to give him the imprimatur, so when he brought it, you know, it's Nzema, you know that?
Yes.
And whenever we meet, he'll call me Midiema. Midiema simply means my brother. And he said, Midiema, I didn't know you are a mystic, but your book showed that you are a mystic. I said, Your Grace, please keep this one to yourself. I'm not a mystic. And then said, no, it's true. But that book made me convinced that when Archbishop reads, he reads in detail. There was one mistake in it. I read it 5 times, Charles Cafdil read it 4 times, we didn't see the mistake. Archbishop found the mistake. The word is fend, F-I-G-N-D. And fend means the devil in hell. Hell is devil. But when you have devil among evil people, you know what fend is. If you are spelling and by mistake the I didn't come, it becomes fend, feeding. Complete different meaning. So he said, my brother, I don't think this is the word you want to use. And I said, which one? He said, this one. Then I spelled it a bit. You see themselves? Oh. And then he said, David, don't trust the computer too much. They help us to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So, everyone reading. There was a lady who was here at that time. Her name was Ruby. And that morning, after breakfast, I was coming to get ready to meet somebody. And for 2 weeks, the woman was here. We don't greet. We don't talk to each other. And this morning, when he saw me, he started smiling. I said, seems this woman wants to say something to me. So the last step, he stood. He didn't move. So I said, hi, lady, any good news? He said, yes, I want to say thank you. So, any good thing done? He said, your book. I said, my book? He said, your book. I have bought one. And I want to thank you because until I read your book, I didn't know I'm a noble woman. So which part? So I'm Ruby. Say, okay, you are Ruby. Then for Archbishop, the first chapter is her favorite. Charles Cafdil, the last chapter, the book is good.
Yeah. This is the book. In case anyone is interested, brother, where can we get some from?
Just come to Solomon. I didn't want to send it to the bookshops
Okay.
for simple reason. They will sell it and you not get the money. 2, they will make triple profit.
Yes.
And I didn't want to make it a profit venture. So for the poor, 20 copies.
Okay.
In fact, the patronage, the first 1,000 copies was sold out.
Okay.
And I was encouraged to print another 1,000 copies. Some of them are at least 400 copies are there.
Okay. So maybe you can give a phone number out.
Phone number?
Yes, in case somebody wants to call.
054 10 55 129.
Okay.
054 10 55 129.
Okay.
And if you need it, just contact the author in Sorpon and you get a copy.
Okay. So, brother, what actually motivated you to put this down?
As I said, it's my life. If you look at the picture on it, this girl is shedding tears, but her face is serene, meaning he has not been beaten, but is weeping out of sorrow. Sooty tears, those were first from the villages. In those days, when you go to your mother's kitchen, up there is a mixture of cobwebs and smoke. They form a black dust over there. Probably you want to steal something or want to take something, you raise your eyes and something falls into your eyes. That day, tears will come all day, and yet nobody has beaten you. When I look sooty tears, sooty, beating or shedding tears without being beaten. And it's not only the smoke. In life, many people are weeping quietly in their rooms. Maybe financial problem, maybe sickness, maybe marriage,
Childbirth.
maybe childbirth, what they call the fruit of the womb. And you see this person weeping, and yet nobody has hit him or her. Tears that we share, and yet nobody slaps you. So it's not only black dust from the ceiling of your mother's kitchen falling into your eyes, but in living life. It could be sickness, chronic, mental, anything that can cause us to shed tears, and yet you have not been beaten. And this is all about sooty tears. And every page in it is beautiful, but it's tears sharing.
Yeah. So, brother, based on what you have here, sooty tears, give some advice to the general public, everybody watching you.
Watching me.
Yes.
Life is never achieved on a silver platter. And challenges and difficulties are part and parcel of life. In life, many people were born with either silver spoon, golden spoon, but maybe some were born with wooden spoon. And very likely some were born with no spoon at all. For the person without a spoon, to work and live to get a silver spoon is hard. Very hard. The unfortunate thing is that sometimes you look at shoulders. He is my classmate. He's in a car, having a car. I have a better grade than her or him. I don't have a car. Life doesn't work in that way. And therefore, especially those of us who are Christians, should bear in mind that life, success of life, never come on a silver platter. You work. Among the account balance, there's a saying that sika wenya na wampe. Sika wenya na wampe. If you want to put aside one cedi to build a house, you will never lay a foundation. But if the door, grace, opportunity is open for you in a single day, a single month, 1 year, you will get all that you need. Let me tell you a true story in the valley. A woman I know came here to pray. And then he said he wanted to share something with me, and he did. And one of the story is somebody he helped to start business overnight has become rich. And he's also praying that he gets that opportunity. And what was the opportunity of this person? The person was going to China, and the money he had was for one container. When he reached China, their money at that time had been devalued. So with the one container money, you could buy 3 containers. And the company told him, we have more. We can give you 4 containers, and then 3 months we pay the remaining. He said, yeah, give it to me. So he went to China with 1 container money. He came back with 4 containers. Overnight, he has made the money. So I told my friend, my dear lady, don't pray for that. If you are not lucky, you will go there with 2 container money. By the time you reach there, it will reduce to half container. That is life. So we need to accept, especially when we think life is difficult or we are suffering. All of us are suffering. Even the rich man is suffering. Even the rich man. I encountered rich people here, and the story they tell me, I'm better than them. Unfortunately, they think I'm better than them too. They see me under the tree. They say all kinds of beautiful things about me and to me. I don't accept them, but I thank them. For us Christians, salvation history, all the great figures we read about them in the Bible, they never achieve it on a silver platter. Not even Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Not even our Lord. More shameful than we can even write or talk about. So we need to accept our this situation. And whatever grace has given you, whatever vocation God has given you, accept it and do it to the best of your ability. And if you are able to do that, you are the best. You are the best.
Thank you very much, brother.
You're welcome.
You don't know what you have shared means to us. Myself, my viewers, it means a lot to us. You've really inspired us today. We pray for more grace, more years. So the next year we come again. Almost every year we'll be here to listen to wisdom from Brother David Marian Kwaw. Brother, we are grateful.
Thank you very much.
And thanks so much to you, cherished viewer out there, for joining us to have this conversation together. For those who are still discerning their vocations, especially those who want to be brothers, do not be discouraged. If you listen to the story of Brother David, I know you will be inspired. If you are a man, it's not compulsory or a must that you be a priest. Brotherhood vocation is also there. Make a move. Speak to anybody who could be of help. Brother has already given us his number. Don't hesitate to call him, not only when you want to purchase his book, but also for counseling and then for some spiritual directions. This has been Cafdil TV, watching Religious Vocation Digest. We're also live on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil EDU. You can always get a recap of it. I am Sister Marian, and I hope to come your way again next week. Good evening.